The UK has been widely praised for the efficiency of its vaccination rollout, especially in comparison with the European Union. However, whereas the block-wide rate per 100 people currently stands at 0.81 as of July 17, on July 16, the UK's figure was just 0.34. In total, 256,932 jabs were administered as of Friday, but the number has been steadily dwindling since the end of May. On May 25, the 7-day rolling average for coronavirus jabs was 594,986.9, but on July 13, the last date for which such data was available, this had dropped to 231,196.4. The UK has given a total of 81,959,398 doses, with 87.8% having had at least one jab, but only 67.8% have had both. Professor Gabriel Scally, a member of the Independent SAGE Advisory Group and a fierce critic of Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to lift restrictions, warned the government there would be enormous risks to public health if the vaccination process was to stall. He told Express.co.uk, "We're not sure what the problem is, we have been concerned about this, and we don't know the explanation. Vaccines are extraordinarily important to us. And in fact, it's made all the more important by the fact that it doesn't provide total protection, we know that now." Professor Scally acknowledged that plenty of people, especially the younger generation, may have concluded that Britain was over the worst, especially with the arrival of summer. He said, "It isn't, and the reason for that is that the Delta variant is so much more transmissible. There's plenty of evidence of people getting infected from very brief contacts. It used to be 15 minutes, and now people are reporting very brief contacts resulting in infection." With many due to return to offices and other workplaces, Professor Scally added, "I think it's madness that the government is not doing what they could to prevent this. I don't mean interfering anymore with the economy or anything like that. I'm talking about things like better ventilation. Lots of people are going back into workplaces and of course people in shops and in retail and hospitality, they have to be in premises and they are meeting people all the time. The government is doing nothing to update the definition of fresh air to make sure that we can cope with COVID, and that means putting better ventilation. That's what will keep our schools, our workplaces, our universities, our shops and our pubs safe. From tomorrow, face masks will no longer be required in public places, capacity caps will be lifted on venues such as sports stadiums and theaters, and there will be no limit on group gatherings, among other rule changes. Less than 48 hours before the new rules came into force, Health Secretary C0vid confirmed he had tested positive for COVID-19 despite being double jabbed. Mr. Johnson and Chancellor Rishi Sunak were then forced to reverse the decisions not to quarantine as contacts of Mr. Javid after a public outcry. Speaking to Sky News' Trevor Phillips today, Communities Secretary Robert Jenrick defended the government strategy, saying, "We will all need to exercise good judgment. We are moving from that time when the state told you what to do, things were mandated as a matter of law, to one which had to come at some point where we trusted people, we trusted businesses and organizations, and gave them the information they needed to make good judgments." As of July 16, 35.73 million Britons, 53% of the population, had received 2 coronavirus jabs, with a further 10.49 million to 15%, having had 1 dose. The percentages still compare favorably with other developed nations such as Germany, 46% fully inoculated, 14% partially, France, 40% and 14%, and Spain, 50% and 12%. In a statement issued today, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said, "Barely 8 months since the first vaccine was given, reaching these targets is another extraordinary achievement. Thank you again to everyone coming forward, and to those helping others to get jabbed. You are the reason we are able to cautiously ease restrictions next week, and return closer towards normal life. Now let's finish the job. If you're over 18, book both your jabs today."